back and edit and put in the beginning to watch this till the end, because I think this is really, it's funny, but it's disturbing at the same time. Good evening, good night, YouTube. Old Guy 379 here. Just sitting at my house in Billings that we are currently getting ready to move out of and doing some work to get it ready to sell. Excuse me. I just wanted to kind of throw a couple things, add some things to my earlier video on maintenance, tools, and everyday carry. So some comments are great, man. I really appreciate it. Again, like I said, you guys are just freaking awesome. You've been amazing supporting my channel and supporting me, and I really appreciate it. Jenna over at Kindred Trucker, I really appreciate your comments and your videos. Thank you for mentioning me in your last video. I really appreciate that. That's probably done a lot for me too. Maybe at some point, this is kind of an invitation. Maybe at some point we can get together and we can do a video together via, Teams or something. I don't know. It'd be kind of neat to do a question and an answer thing like that. But the comments on my truck maintenance, tools, and everyday carry video, man, there's a lot of great stuff. And I left out a bunch of things, glad hand seals, whatever else I think there was, fuel filters. One of the biggest things, though, I think, and I'm sorry, it's kind of noisy in here, my pellet stove's going and the washing machine's going. One of the biggest things I failed to mention, though, on that was, especially for owner-operators and lease operators, is to buy a grease gun and some grease. I think really, in all reality, from all the years I've been driving and when I owned my own trucks in the past before this one, it is the cheapest, most cost-effective preventive maintenance item you can do yourself, and that is to grease your own truck. Typically you go somewhere and you get an A service done now, man, it's over $100. It's ridiculous. It used to be you could get a truck greased, truck and trailer, for about $25 to $30. Nowadays, man, you can't even get them to grease just the front axle for that. But you go out and spend $35, $40 on a good quality grease gun. I really suggest the pistol grip kind, where you can use one hand to pump the grease and one hand to hold the hose. The one I have is a lever type, and it's because it was the only one they had when I bought it. And I'm too cheap to go buy another one. Milwaukee, and there's a few other ones, make some really good battery operated grease guns that work really good. They're expensive, so it depends on what you want to do and what you want to spend. But buy a grease gun, get some good quality grease. I really prefer the Lucas Red and Tacky. I've had really, really good luck with that. One of the things they sell actually too, and we'll get to this. Actually, let's just talk about it right now. Grease your fifth wheel. I don't care if you're a company driver or an owner operator, whatever. Put grease on your fifth wheel, especially this time of year, because in the wintertime, if you have a dry fifth wheel and you go to turn and you're fairly light, your truck may not turn, because the fifth wheel, the kingpin plate and the fifth wheel are stuck together, and they're just two dry pieces of metal turning. It's a safety thing. It's not just, a maintenance thing. It's a safety thing with that. I noticed at the truck stops, they have the Lucas Red and Tacky in little packs that you can lay right on the fifth wheel, one on each side. Those are amazing. I greased the fifth wheel on my truck when I first got it back November 20th. I bought 2 of those, and I think that weekend, so somewhere around the 24th, 25th of the month, I unhooked from my trailer and greased the truck, and then I threw those 2 things on the fifth wheel. And when I went to grease my truck just this weekend, there's still plenty of grease on the fifth wheel. There were getting to be a couple bare spots. When you do grease your fifth wheel and you go to back under your trailer to hook back up again, do yourself a favor. Don't just scrape the grease off with the front of the trailer. Drop your air suspension down, get your fifth wheel down below the kingpin plate, back underneath, and then just once your fifth wheel is under there, raise your suspension back up so that grease gets spread out as you back under, and it doesn't just get peeled off the front of the trailer with the front of the trailer. That does you absolutely no good, and it just makes a big greasy mess out of your drivetrain. It gets all over the frame and the drive shaft and down on the ground. And it's just ugly and looks unprofessional. But buy a grease gun, get good grease, and grease your trucks. The biggest part of that is, and the most advantageous part of it is that you're going to get underneath the truck and you're going to be the one seeing any potential issues. Grab your flashlight. Like I said, I love those Streamlight wedge. They're great. You can get a headlamp. Personally, I don't like those. I have yet to find one that's really good that I like to wear. I wear a hat all the time. I'm going bald. I don't think it's from wearing a hat. I think I'm just was predetermined to go bald anyway. But I don't like headlamps. I never have. Like I said, I've never found a good one that really, to me, was worth the money. But hey, whatever works for you. Find all the grease fittings on your truck and grease everything. Pump just enough grease in to where you hear the grease start to crack through. You can hear it popping in whatever it is you're greasing, whether it be a shackle pin or a kingpin or a tie rod. And stop just as you start to see some grease coming out. Don't just go blowing grease through. Now, if you're running super wet, ugly, crappy areas like over in the oil fields in North Dakota or down in Wyoming where you're running through the mud and everything all the time and you're greasing that truck every week, every 4 or 5 days, go ahead, go for it. Shove the grease in there until new grease comes out. But just make sure you keep doing it. Because you're running in situations where the water's probably going to wash the grease out anyway. But for on-highway trucks, just a couple, 3, 4 pumps every time you get in there to grease should really be enough on every grease fitting, except for your throwout bearing and your clutch pivot grease fittings. Those you really only want to give about a half of a pump or a pump to every time you do it, because you don't want to blow extra grease out in there, and especially like on your throwout bearing, and end up having grease all over your clutch face and contaminating your clutch face and causing problems. So yeah, that's my biggest advice, guys. And then obviously, things you should be carrying with you, like I mentioned, headlights, tail lights, extra light bulbs for the inside of your cab, Glad hand seals. Somebody brought that up, man. Thank you. I totally forgot about that. My truck and trailer, we actually use 1/2-inch quick connects like you would use on an airline in a shop. And so I haven't had to use a glad hand seal for a long time. But man, they're cheap. You can usually, if you go to the dealer and buy them, you can usually get them, get them like $1.50 a piece. Keep 8 or 10 of them around with you, because you just never know when you're going to need one. Trying to think of some of the other things that would come. A set of jumper cables, and good quality jumper cables. You should really always have a set of those with you, no matter what. Especially if you pull a reefer. Oh man, you've got built-in battery charging capabilities right there with that. And there's another trick too. You can actually get a piece of 10-gauge wire that's about 20 feet long, 30 feet long, and put a couple big alligator clips on the end of that. Just one. You don't need both wires. You just need one. And put that on the positive terminal of the battery on your reefer unit. Fire up your reefer and hook the other one to the positive terminal on your battery on your truck, or to the jump start post. Let your reefer run. Go eat breakfast. Take a shower, whatever. Come back out a couple hours later, and your truck will start. It's pretty amazing. I've started a lot of trucks that way, or vice versa. Use it to jumpstart the reefer. That's another thing too. If you have a reefer unit, pack around an extra fuel filter for that dumb thing, because Thermo King, for whatever reason, in their infinite wisdom, doesn't seem to let their dealerships carry a whole lot of stock. And Carrier, we didn't have a lot of issues with. We didn't run very many Carrier units. I had one in my rental fleet. We didn't have a lot of problems finding parts for that. Of course, being an older Thunderbird, it was more an age thing finding parts for it than just, the fact that nobody was stocking them. But Thermo King, man, I don't know. I don't know what their deal is lately, but this last couple of years has been a little rough getting parts out of them. But carry a fuel filter with you for that. Just whatever you can think of, I used to carry I had a tackle box, like a hip roof tackle box that you could open up with like 3 trays in each side. And I had that thing, packed full of airline fittings, 1/4 inch, 3/8, 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch, everything you would need. I had splices for rubber airlines. I had splices for steel braided airlines. I had splices for plastic airlines. Push connects were just kind of starting to get into being a big deal back in the late 90s, early 2000s. But man, I had a box full of brass like you wouldn't believe. And if I saw something laying on the ground that looked like it was in halfway decent shape, I picked it up and put it in my box. You never know, you might need it. Extra bolts, nuts of all different sizes. Make sure though, if you're buying stuff like that for your truck, make sure and go at a bare minimum of a grade 5 or a grade 8. Grade 5 will have like 3 little lines on it as far as the SAE. Metric's a little different standard, but a grade 8 will have 5 little lines sticking out on the top, on the top of the bolt. You add 3 to that. So anyway, just make sure. I would buy grade 8 bolts if I was, to do it, which I always did. Another tip, mud flaps. Man, how many times have you backed over something and ripped a mud flap off and it just bent the living crap out of your mud flap bracket, like on your trailer? Little tip, take on the top of your mud flap where the holes are and cut a notch. Cut out that piece between, just above the hole. They're usually oblong holes. That piece right above it, just take your knife and just cut them out. And when you put it all together, the bolt and the nut and the washers will have enough pressure on it to hold it there. But if you back over something, rather than bend the mud flap bracket, it'll just pull the mud flap right out, and then you can put the mud flap back on. And same goes with rubber mud flaps, plastic and rubber both. It'll save you a lot of heartaches, man, especially if it's your truck and trailer and that happens, and you don't have to worry about straightening out brackets or anything, or ripping a bracket clear off. Same on the tractors. Do it on your tractor too, because I can't tell you how many times over the years I've ripped mud flap brackets clear off of trucks, and it just, they've always been the nice stainless or chrome ones with the spring inside. Yeah, it happens, and it gets expensive, and it's very frustrating. So just little things like that you'll learn over the years that you just put into practice. Rain-X on your windshields, man, that's a great thing. Carry paper towels with you. I've got a big pack of the microfiber cloths that I carry with me. I use them, and then I can wash them and then reuse them, and wash them and reuse them. Get a good quality window cleaner. Detail the inside of your trucks. Keep your trucks clean inside, guys. It's the cold and flu season, and apparently anymore it's always COVID season, so I don't, whatever that whole deal's all about. But keep your trucks clean inside. Not only does it look better from an outsider's point of view looking at your truck, but it keeps you healthy. All that garbage and dust and crap, I see in a lot of these guys' trucks, man. Some of you guys, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna hold anything back. You are freaking pigs, period. And it shows everywhere you go. Take some pride in what you do. Take a lot of pride in what you do. Like I've said before in previous videos, this is a job that not everybody can do or everybody wants to do. But take care of yourself, stay healthy, stay clean, take a shower at least, 3 times a week. If it's possible. So I know I get it. Sometimes it's tough to get out there and get a shower every single day, but you should be able to get one at least every 3rd day. There's no reason. Most of these guys that are out here, you stop in a truck stop every night, you get fuel every day. There's no excuse to not take a shower at least every other day. But keep your trucks clean inside. Throw your garbage away, and don't just throw it out in the parking lot. Man, I'm going to tell a little story right now. I was at UNFI in Ridgefield, Washington yesterday, unloading yesterday morning. And I had the video. I was talking about high beams and backing up and people with their headlights on and everything. It was dark and rainy. I never walked back and looked at the dock where I was backing into. I just got backed in there and waited to get unloaded. Well, when they finally cut me loose to leave, I pulled ahead a little bit, went to walk around behind the truck to make sure my load locks and my pallet jack and my bulkhead were in there. And some driver had taken a giant freaking sideways crap right in front of the dock door on the pavement, right there in front of the warehouse. Why? Less than 150 feet down the row is a bathroom, and about another 50 feet beyond that were 4 outhouses. This place actually does a really good job keeping clean. Outhouses, they suck, but a porta potty or a porta john is way better than crapping on the ground. And then drivers bitch and complain because nobody wants them in their parking lots. Well, I wonder why. You guys taking a crap on the pavement right in front of somebody's dock door. And that fires me up, man. It makes me mad. Then you go to these truck stops and there's garbage everywhere because, so many drivers are just so freaking lazy. They can't even walk their fat butt over to a garbage can. Really? Now, I was at the Loves in Missoula today, got fuel this morning, I guess, early afternoon. All the garbage cans on the fuel line overflowing with garbage. That's not a driver's problem. That's their problem. They should take care of that. But when I got out and got parked in a parking spot, there's 5 empty garbage cans right there. And guess what? There's garbage laying on the ground in front of the can and in the middle of one of the parking stalls. So this is turning into from, hey, do this, and, this is a great idea I'm on a bit of a rant. But it's really pathetic, guys. You're all adults. There's not a child one out here driving a truck. Everybody is over 21 years of age. Grow up. Act like adults. Stop acting like children and just throwing your stuff on the ground like it's beneath you to actually take the time to throw it in the garbage. And for all you foreign guys that may be watching, somebody could you please explain to me why? I mean, I understand. I know the infrastructure in foreign countries is not as good as it is here in the United States. Why would you poop in the bathroom next to the toilet rather than in the toilet, and then wipe your butt and throw all your toilet paper on the floor? Is it because you just feel like you should disrespect every place you go like that, or is it because you really think that the sewage system won't handle whatever you put in the toilet? Yeah, this video is taking a bad turn. I'm sorry, but all this is making me think of that, and there's no excuse for it. There is just absolutely zero excuse for these things going on. It's a lack of self-respect. It's a lack of self-discipline, and being an old Marine, discipline is huge. And that's probably why, I've been fortunate enough to be successful in this industry, is because I have the discipline to keep going even when I don't really feel like it. We talked in our other videos about running high miles. We used to just do it. There was no ifs, ands, or buts. You just did it. And if you were tired, you took a quick nap, and then you got up and you got down the road. And you took care of your trucks and you kept your trucks clean. There's always been dirty trucks and scuzzy truck drivers. Don't get me wrong. It's not like it's something new. But it sure seems like there's a lot more of them out there now than there ever was. And it is really, really bad. Piss bottles. Let's talk about that. You guys that pee in bottles all the time, dump the freaking things out in the grass somewhere and throw the damn bottles in the garbage. Stop being pigs. I'm not kidding. It's just, man, it just frustrates me beyond all freaking belief. I got fuel the other day. I was down in, it wasn't the other day. It's been a few weeks ago. Man, I don't even remember where it was at. It was down south somewhere. North Carolina, South Carolina. somebody had lined up 6 1-gallon jugs full of pee along the concrete, the bare little island there where the fuel pump was, at the fuel pump, in the fuel island. Now, somebody's got to throw that away. Nobody wants to handle your pee. And the fact that you had 6 gallons of pee in your truck, dude, seriously? Come on, man. I'm going to beat Joe Biden. Come on, man. Again, I'm sorry this is turning into kind of an ugly little rant, but I'm just curious. Why? Explain to me why it's so damn difficult for so many of you guys, and you're pooping in bags and throwing it out in the parking lot. You're too freaking lazy. You can't make it to the bathroom. I took metformin for a while for my type 2 diabetes. I get it, man. When it hits you, you got to go. You got to go. I understand. Well, throw your damn poop bags in the freaking parking lot. Seriously, go use the bathroom. You're not that far away. You can hold it. You're grown-ups. You can hold it to get to the bathroom. You're not 2. Man, I'm sorry. Like I said, I apologize for this taking this turn this way, but I have to rant on this just a little bit. I really do, man. It drives me absolutely insane. We had a guy came in with a truck, one of our company drivers for our sister company there at the outfit I work for, and turned the truck in. Well, he got fired. And so it was up to our shop to clean the trucks up and detail them. Man, I think they said there was something like 12 1-gallon jugs full of piss under the bunk. And then God knows how many 2-liter and liter soda bottles and 20-ounce soda bottles. What do you think? You're freaking Howard Hughes? Are you that guy? Were you saving your pee? From the scene from the Aviator, when Leonardo DiCaprio is playing Howard Hughes and he's locked in his room and there's pee jugs everywhere all around the freaking room. I don't understand, man. I just don't. I really, really don't. Get out of your truck. Go pee in the bathroom. Get out and walk. It's good for you. Sorry. It makes me laugh, but it also just disgusts me, and we had a truck. We called it the poop truck. It was a husband and wife team, and they had one of those Johnny Bucket things, with a toilet seat on it that you could poop in. And I don't remember exactly what the circumstances were. I think they got forced off the road in the wintertime, but they ended up laying that truck over on its side. And whatever happened, they ended up getting terminated. But that truck laid out in the ditch for a few days on its side until they could get out there and pick that up. And that poop bucket had leaked out all over everything. And we ended up taking it to Mars here in Billings, one of the auto detail shops. And those guys, man, anytime I called them after that to get a truck detailed, they're like, hey, it's not full of poop, is it? I'm like, no, it's not a poop truck. It's okay. So, yeah, just guys, come on, man. Really? I kind of wonder sometimes what goes through people's mind. I just don't get it. I really don't. Oh, the stories, dude. The Middle Eastern guys cutting holes in the floor of their truck so they can, when they're teaming, they don't have to stop. They can just poop through the hole in the floor of the truck. It's not a made up thing, man. They really do it. It's and I'm sure it's not just the Middle Eastern guys. I'm sure there's other people doing the exact same thing. Yeah, I don't know. I don't get it. I just don't, stop alongside the highway and pee on the side of the road. Let that state know exactly how you feel about it. Stop throwing your garbage out alongside the highway and the ditches and at the off ramps and on ramps. You got a bag full of garbage. Wait till you get somewhere where you can put it in a garbage can, please. you know, like I've talked about in the past, and I apologize, this video is going to end up being a 30-minute video, but, you know, we have a real bad problem with public perception. And that's part of it right there. You know, you go to Walmarts and stuff and they kick you out of there because they don't want you there because you keep throwing your garbage and your old junk tires and your pee bottles and everything else out in the parking lot. Or, you know, you're that crass dude that gets out and just stands out there and everything hanging out, peeing all over the side of your truck with a family, with an SUV or a van going by with 16 kids in it looking out the window at you while you're standing out there digging in your butt crack, taking a leak. You know, clean yourselves up a little bit. Nobody's perfect. I am least of all perfect. But these are things that need brought to people's attention, because apparently somewhere in the 8 years that I got off the road, it's turned into a socially acceptable norm. And it's pathetic, man. It's immature. Like I said, you guys are all adults. Everybody that's out there driving a truck is over 21 years old that runs 48, you know, that runs all over the country, running interstate. You can run intrastate at 18. But even at 18, I would expect the guy knows how to flush the toilet in the bathroom. You know, if you haven't taken a crap for 3 days and you go in the bathroom and you take a dump and you fill the toilet bowl full of poop, clean it out. Don't leave it for somebody else. Flush while you're doing it so that, you know, 2 or 3 times, get it all down. I don't know, whatever. I went into one of the bathroom stalls today. It was at Love's in Missoula. And the bowl was full clear to the top of toilet paper and poop. Go get an attendant and say, man, I'm sorry, dude. I crapped up your freaking toilet so bad it's going to be, but, you know, hey, just so you know. No, you just walk away. Probably didn't wash your hands and went through and fingered through the hot dog roller. You know, I mean, come on. Sorry, guys. I hope this makes you laugh a little bit, but I also hope it brings some attention to the fact that we have a very disturbingly disgusting group of people out on the road. Not only have we had serial killers out there, but, you know, we have guys that apparently are serial pee collectors. I don't know. It makes me laugh a little bit. But anyway, drivers, I'm going to stop right now before this really gets bad and ugly. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments again, man. You know, and I appreciate so much everybody's comments and your opinions, and thank you so much for your support so far. Please, I really hope I should go back and edit and put in the beginning to watch this till the end, because I think this is really, it's funny, but it's disturbing at the same time. Anyway, drivers, man, again, I love y'all. I respect each and every one of you. I appreciate the support. Hit that subscribe and like button, please. Hit the notification bell so you get notified when new videos come out. And we'll keep doing this as long as we can. Maybe we'll have some videos with some other stories that aren't quite as disturbing, or with Glenn just going off on a freaking old guy rant here because people are just being gross. But it's a problem. It's really a problem in our industry, and I know a lot of states are starting to address it. And you know, places that we used to be able to park, we can't park there anymore. So please, you know, if you see this stuff, man, point it out. Don't be afraid to look at somebody and go, dude, pick your garbage up. They'll probably flip you off and tell you to go F yourself and get mad at you for it. But you know, I don't care. If enough people start saying something, you know what? People start cleaning up a little bit, because we're being watched all the time. All the time we are watched. People, believe it or not, they notice everything we do, but they only notice the bad stuff. They never notice the good stuff. Anyway, drivers, again, take care. Keep the shiny side up, the greasy side down, man. And like I always tell you, we'll catch you on the flip side. See ya.